Too.
Live, we're live.
All right, we're live. Look at him showing off those guns. Look at my little puny COVID guns now. I've like turned into a shell of my former self, but I'll come back.
Hey, that's the easy part.
There you go. So Stu, couple
Yes.
things. This is our first podcast of the year. That's exciting.
Yes. That it is.
I got a new headset. I'm
Fun.
I'm channeling Stu Smith. You see how I got my little boom mic out here and stuff?
I
Couple
like it,
things
Jim.
there.
I like it,
Also,
Jim.
you notice we're in the world headquarters now. We are in the world headquarters as opposed to my wife's basement. So we got that going for us.
Sweet.
Um, you want me to give you a quick tour? You want to just see, you want to look around the room?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So this is my office, or this is the little studio thing, right? I have to turn off all the lights because it messes up. Okay, so over there is like the we call it the living room set, dining room set. I got all my awards and everything set up.
Nice.
That's the green screen area over there.
Awesome.
And then that's the Unicorn Cafe over there with light up signs. So I got a whole little break area and everything. And then I got two 80-inch TVs over here on the side that I'll be using for presentations and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Wow,
Yeah.
man, that is some serious upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. It yeah, long time coming. So it's
Ah,
exciting to be here. So yeah,
that's really
neato.
cool.
Neato bandito.
All I did was put up another paddle.
Well, those paddles are kind of meaningful.
Sorry to
I'm
make you
just saying.
cough there, COVID boy.
Oh snap! It's China Virus Boy today. So
I'm glad
is
you're
that
feeling
okay?
better.
Is
I'm
that okay
glad
to
you
say it? I'm just saying it the one time. I got one more time. I'm going to say it, and then I won't say China
You're
virus
not making
again.
me uncomfortable with it. You're making yourself sound old. That's all I'm telling you.
Mm,
Stop it. All
there you
right,
go.
here we go. All right. So, do you realize, Stu, between the two of us, we have over 100 and almost 110 years of experience just between the two of us?
Oof.
Just saying. Okay.
Okay.
So, is the paddle from another group that made it through Buds or from guys who made it through SQT?
It's actually my paddle, my class paddle.
Oh, wow.
Because one thing that I did after getting these cool paddles, realizing I didn't have one.
Yeah.
So another officer in my Buds class and I, Alden, teamed up and we bought the whole class paddles
Wow.
and we mailed them out to everybody. This is what they
And
were.
everybody's still with us?
Everybody's names on there. Everybody's still with us. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. It was 30 years ago, so everybody's out of the military now. So, no, it's cool.
That's very cool.
So I had another, but I'm getting another one next week. Another one of my guys got another paddle, so I got to find another place for a paddle.
Wow. You might
Yeah.
have to get you you might have to zoom out
I guess
on
so.
this thing, which is really cool. Thank you for asking, Anna. I'm feeling better. I'd say I'm about 80%. So we are what we are, but hell, the 80% is a lot better than the 0% I was feeling a couple of weeks ago. So I'm
What?
up and I'm moving and I'm actually walking, not really exercising, but I'm walking and moving around. So
You know something I want to do, Jim, while we have the Jim and Stu show going?
yes.
Is I wanted to talk about your minimum standard that you did while you were sick and really couldn't get a lot of work done.
Uh-huh.
So, what was your minimum standard each day? Because I think it's really important that, when we're sick or traveling and we're not able to do what we normally do on our schedule,
Uh-huh.
what is the minimum, absolute minimum that you can do to make sure your business is still moving in the right direction or just staying put? Because sometimes there's an emergency that goes around, that occurs and you don't even think about your business at all. But there's a minimum thing that has to occur for you to keep going.
So I think the minimum, and it'd be interesting, Susan, I'm going to bring you in on this too, just to talk. So As far as the team goes and getting stuff done, I think the biggest thing, even though I was incapacitated and could barely talk, we still managed to talk like for 10 or 15 minutes a day just to talk about what needed to get done. We also were, well, you tell me, Susan, what with limited input from me, how did I either help or impede keeping the business going? What from what you saw?
I mean, not that I saw. I just reached out and said, "Hey, are we going to be doing what we plan to do that week?" And you're like, "Nope." So I just kind of filled it and covered where I could and said, "Hey, we're not going to be here."
Right.
And then I have my other stuff that I normally do every day and just march down the road with that.
But then we recycled some stuff, adapted some things and other stuff, but things did keep going.
Yeah, and
So the help
Nancy and
desk
I came
stayed.
up with some articles that we got sent out and things taken care of. Of course, we sent them to you for approval, and then we rolled from there.
But the help desk stayed open. You know, we monitored stuff. Things just kind of kept going, but there wasn't a whole lot of new stuff going on. So the minimum is keeping communication open with people, letting them know what's going on, letting people know, hey, Jim's sick, we're not doing this week, but we'll be back. And I think the biggest thing that we did was keep communication going internally, even if it was just for 2 minutes, if it was a text, if it was a Voxer, you know, just a quick little message out, letting people know what's going on. Because I think the biggest thing is just letting people know what's going on. If people know what's going on, they're very forgiving, they're understanding, they're cool about it. It's when you go to radio silence and stuff's broken that people are like, that's, you know, then they're not understanding because there's nothing to understand.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Susan?
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, whenever we've had stuff like that, just the key thing is communication, letting people know what's going on. Now, things can't stay broken forever. At some point, you got to start climbing your way back up out of the pit, which is what we're doing. From another standpoint, I think mentally it's good to be able to climb back out of the pit too, just and not trying to go back to where you were before the emergency, the sickness, the whatever happened, but just noting every day, hey, I'm doing a little better than I was yesterday. I've only coughed up half a lung today, not the whole lung. You know, and having systems in place, having a team, having that stuff, I think is critical so that it's not a giant emergency. It's just a, hey, you know, and a lot of that, we've done it before. We've got systems in place, and it just kind of falls back to that minimum level of training that you might talk about, Stu, where it's like, okay, when everything goes to hell, from what we know we got to keep monitoring the help desk. We know we got to communicate and do that kind of stuff. Any other thoughts, Susan, about the last 3 weeks? In some ways, it was probably nice to not have to deal with me.
I still had to deal
No.
with you.
No, it was
Not-
sad.
Limited ability.
Sad. I missed you my
Wow.
Wednesdays. I missed my Wednesdays.
Wow. So, well, thank you, Susan, for that input. Appreciate it. One other thing, though, you know, you talk about minimum standard and just getting stuff done. And for those of you who are thinking to yourself, man, it's very unpleasant to listen to Jim cough. Imagine how I feel doing the coughing. I did a lot of thinking. So when you feel like crap and you can't really move around a lot, it's actually a great time to sit and think. And I did a lot of sitting and thinking and mental rehearsal and visualization and just thinking things through, thinking through articles, thinking through videos, thinking through genie creation, thinking through um, sales copy, just thinking and then making notes. And then when I didn't feel good, you know, when I needed to, I took a nap. I didn't push it, but when you're in that Robitussin fueled state of half consciousness, sometimes you can have some pretty cool ideas. And you just write them down and think it through. But I think the minimum standard in any business, no matter what's happening, you've got to find a way to keep the minimum systems up running monitored and keep communication open with people.
Yes.
That would be my answer to your question.
Yeah, I have the same one. The same type of answer. It's minimum processes of the business, almost like administrative mode to, maximum. There's very little creativity that's being put out there. I may throw a post in there or maybe repurpose some old posts for social media that maybe I did 2 years ago. Post those instead of trying to think about creating something new. Um, show an older article or something like that in a story, things like that, just to keep it going that I'm still moving and still alive. And then, I've tried to train people in my family as well to do, the administrative side of the business, processing orders, if there's anything that needs to go in the mail, that type of thing. And that has been always my backup,
Yeah, I think
when it happens.
I think also it's just identifying the basic things that have to happen, like what you just said. Got to get the books out, got to check the orders, got to maintain this thing. How can I do that? Who can I get to help me do this? What systems can I get to help me do this? A lot of that stuff now you do with Lulu, so there's less of that going to the post office stuff, or at least you're
True.
bitching about it less.
Oh, I'm doing it, yeah, significantly much less.
But I think also paying attention to the incremental improvement. Sometimes when things go bad, when things just suck, you tend to just go straight into the pity pot of, oh my God, this sucks. I can't breathe. I'm coughing. I can't call, it's just this sucks, 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 sucks. As opposed to if you can just latch on to that one thing that's going better than it was an hour ago or a day ago, and just slowly climb back up out of the hole. I mean, like right now I'm feeling not great. I've put on weight because I haven't been able to move and, all this other stuff. And so I could really be down that pity pot saying, I'll never run again. I'll never do a push up again. I'll never do another pull up. That whole falling off of the mountain of despair, or you just say, look, I walked 20 minutes today. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't walk across the hallway. In 2 weeks, I bet I'll be able to do some light jogging and do some other stuff. And by May, March, April, May, I'll be,
Back to
whatever.
normal.
Right. So I think that's really important when things are not going great, is to stay really focused on what's the immediate goal, what's the goal, and then pay very careful attention to what is going right and latch on, even if it's small stuff, latch on to what's going right and use that as a way to just climb up the rungs of success instead of sitting in the pity pot of despair. That's really been big for me. Like, instead of saying I feel like crap, whenever people, hey, how's it going? Hey man, I'm breathing easier. I'm not coughing as much. I'm doing some walking. I got some genies done. I mean, just you start listing off all the cool stuff you're getting done instead of all the crap that's not getting done. I think that's a big deal.
100%, Jim. 100%.
So the other thing is I got a bunch of books read. Oh my
That's
God,
fun.
I've been reading a ton of books and stuff. Have you read any good books lately, Stu?
Oh, I have. You're big into this artificial intelligence thing, Jim. That's
Yeah.
sweeping the nation,
The
sweeping
world,
the
my friend. The
sweeping the world.
universe.
Next thing you know, you won't even have to think anymore. But whenever whenever the computers take over, I'm making him laugh too much. Sorry. I think he's dying.
Dude, my stomach just tightened. I just am having a freaking stomach. My
Yeah,
stomach muscles are like
gotta lean
seizing
back.
up. I know.
You need to get hydrated. Get some electrolytes.
I'm trying.
Sounds like
Oh
full
my
body
God.
cramp.
Tell us about your book. Oh my God.
Great book. It's called The Lost Ways. Right? You may have seen this infomercial on with the old guy in a beard talking about the lost ways, how nobody knows how to live without cars and refrigeration and air conditioning and phones.
Yeah, I don't think that
This
infomercial lasted that long.
this is the answer. Oh, I love it. This
Did you
thing is
buy that
so.
off an infomercial?
No, I just went online,
Oh,
found
okay.
found the Lost Ways. I think it's on Amazon. You get it on Amazon, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, really fun read.
Okay. Well, why is it a fun read? What kind of crap can you do from looking at that?
I mean, everything from having a better storage system of food without refrigeration. It just teaches you just some old school ways of survival. Basically, like 150 years ago, when people were traveling across the country, how did they live? How did they eat? Right now we take
they ate rats, sawdust, and flour and coffee.
we take it for granted, waking up in the morning and going to a refrigerator and getting breakfast. I mean, those guys, they had a different story for breakfast. Maybe chewing on some beef jerky or something. But anyway, it's a really neat.
What's the coolest thing you learned in that book, or that as potentially could impact your life if the world went to crap? What's the number one thing it shows you how to do?
I would say food.
Well, I
Right?
figured you'd say beer.
Oh well, yeah. Well, you know what? A lot of water purification wasn't really realized, and the only people that really weren't getting sick were the folks that drank a lot of beer.
Yeah,
Right?
ale and stuff because they
they
boiled the water.
boiled the water. Exactly. So that was a staple in a lot of you know beginning communities, is that you had to have a brewmaster.
That dude was always getting paid. Like
Yeah.
everybody else is starving to death, and the brewmaster's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You might
Yeah.
have like a chicken, but it's like, you want some beers?
Bring me a chicken. What happened to? I can't hear you, Jim. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you guys hear? Huh. You can hear Stu, but you can't hear Jim? I can't hear Jim either. Got it. The Lost Ways. Tells you what kind of plants to eat. It's good stuff. There you go. Oh, I thought I heard you. Nope.
Hear me now?
I can.
All right. For whatever reason, my little headset microphone stopped responding.
Is there a button on the side? Sometimes I hit that by accident. That's okay, Jim. I think we were done with the Jim and Stu show anyway. We can move on to the podcast.
Let me try one. Let me just try one more thing. Just see if this came back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get it figured out. I don't know what's going on. It's a new headset.
Okay.
I don't know why it would cut out, but who knows why technology does anything. You can hear me relatively okay, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay. All right. Let's do the podcast. 3, 2, 1. Let me try one other thing real quick. Maybe get a better sound, because that probably sounds pretty crappy, right?
It's got a little echo.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're in a big room.
Yeah, because I am. Let me just try one other thing. Sorry for this, folks.
We're on podcast 183.
Check 1, 2, check. Does that sound better? Check.
Yeah, very good.
Check. That sounds better?
Yep.
Okay. Does it still sound echoey or?
Much less.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go with this. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Sales Copyright and Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I'm your host, Jim Edwards, along with my trusty co-host, Mr. Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Hey, Jim.
This is episode 183. Wow, 183 episodes of amazing goodness. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, we're moving right along, being consistent. That's the name of the game, Jim. Got to be consistent.
Absolutely. So, what do we want to talk about today, Stu?
Well, it's kind of flows from our prior discussion about you being ill for the last 2 weeks.
Only 2
And
weeks?
2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks.
No, I was saying physically ill. Yeah, other illness.
Yeah, we missed a few podcast dates.
Couple counseling sessions.
Yeah, but how do we regroup after such an illness? Whether that is just with business, with life, with fitness, there is a process of regrouping. And it just so happens we're at the beginning of the new year, so we have a new year focus and we're regrouping after illness. So I thought we'd hit two birds with one stone on this show and really kind of discuss the process that you are personally going through right now as you regroup from being ill for 2 weeks and heading into the new year, new focus with everything.
So if my technology was working properly, I would go to the board. But if I go to the board, I don't think how well can you hear me if I'm standing over here? Can you hear me okay, or does it go to crap real bad?
No, I can hear you well.
You can hear me good enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do this. I turn up that. How about now? Is that better?
Yeah, it's
Or
loud. It's
too
a little
loud?
too loud. Yeah.
How's that? Is that better?
Yep. Perfect.
That good? Okay. So one of the things that I would say is that everything comes back to focus. So what is the focus? What's your why? And where are you going? What's the big destination, the target of where you want to end up? Okay. And so when bad stuff happens, or when inconvenient things happen, like, I don't know, catching the China virus and getting knocked out for 3 weeks, we tend to kind of withdraw and go within, and we don't really we lose touch with the things that are at the tip of our consciousness when things are going great. So the first thing you got to do is figure out, okay, what am I doing? What do I want? Where am I going? Okay, the what and the where. So like right now we're right in the middle of the rebrand again of content marketing scripts and all the other stuff we're doing. Really exciting things that are going on with that are going to be happening in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And so what I had to do was get real clear. There's all this, when things are going great, sometimes it's kind of like a train that can pick up a whole lot of stuff that you don't notice it, like a little extra interviews here, extra things that you'll do here, extra just like you start carrying all this stuff because everything's going great. And then when everything goes to crap and you're down to bare bones again, you need to get back in touch with, hey, you know what? Here's the core of our business. Here's the core of what we're paying attention to, which is helping entrepreneurs. In our case, it's helping entrepreneurs get more leads, make more sales, and build stronger, more profitable relationships using our genies and wizards and training. That's our thing. Okay, so in a lot of ways, it's good sometimes when bad stuff happens, because it forces you to go through this process of, what are we all about? Where are we going? What's the core of our business and the stuff that we're doing? Maybe all the stuff that we had to let go of because we got sick or something happened. And, do we really need to pick all that back up? Or is it time to go through our rucksack and spot all the crap that we're carrying that's like, man, I haven't used that in forever. I'm not ever going to use that. I don't use that. Let's lighten the load. All right.
Yeah.
So then the next thing is, once you've identified that, what you're doing, where you're going, next thing is to get back in touch with the why you're doing it.
because getting momentum going again requires that understanding the why we're doing this, so that when things are tough, when things are not going easy, when you're getting back in the swing of it, using a metaphor of exercise, I haven't run in a month. And in another couple of weeks, when I do start running again, it'll be 6 weeks since I ran, and it will feel like I haven't run in my entire life. And that first 100 yards, that first quarter mile, that first half mile, you're like, oh, dear God in heaven, I'll never run again. This sucks. I can't believe this. I'll never get back in shape. And so when that stuff starts happening, you better have a real clear why as to why you're doing stuff. And that why, at least for us, is a us. My new pronoun is they, them, and us. I'm just playing. But like, as far as our business, our team, our why is helping our ideal customers get what they need, get the tools and the training that they need in order to use content and copy to build their businesses. All right, because it's something every business needs. But that's one layer. Another layer is to create an amazing life for ourselves and our families. And so there's a whole bunch of why we're doing this, because I don't have to work anymore if I didn't want to. Now I'm working to create an amazing life for the people around me. The third thing is to pay real close attention to what you focus on daily. And typically that focus starts in the morning. You better get clear in the morning. What am I focusing on? And at least for me, I like to focus on, my first thing I focus on is my why. Then I focus on what my big lift is for the month. So the big lift for this month is to get the rebrand done, get the dashboards done, get everything we can, get the whole thing done. All right. And then what am I focusing on today to get us closer to that? And then finally, I also focus on, okay, what did I get done yesterday, so that I can feel that momentum and I can see that we are making progress. And for me, at least, that kind of checklist, that step down of every single day at the beginning of the day is something that has helped me to build a lot more momentum than I have maybe in the past, and keep that momentum more consistently. And especially when you're getting back in the saddle, this is critical, but it's building momentum, but maintaining momentum. If you think about it, getting clear on, know exactly where you're going, why you're doing what you're doing, focusing on something that's manageable, which is a month, focusing on something that's manageable, which is what I'm going to do today to get me. It's all action oriented too. It's not amorphous. It's very action oriented. And then also focusing on the fact that you have built momentum and you are making progress, which will help you to keep that momentum and even build more momentum. So that's the answer. That's my answer to the question. What are your thoughts, Stu?
Yes, I definitely agree with your action-oriented focus. I tend to have a daily to-do list that I start engaging back the way I used to. Versus, letting it go because I was ill and just didn't have the long list of things I needed to do. But I will say this, with fitness, very similar to what I gave you a few weeks ago, was what I call my systems check. And when I was sick, like you, I'm like, I probably shouldn't go do a workout right now, but I feel good enough to not have to sleep in and miss it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to do like a mobility day where 5 minutes, I'll give it a test of cardio, just see if I start coughing. Like, where's the heart rate that I have that makes me start coughing? Then I stay below that. Right. So it's just a little check. And then I'll get off after 5 minutes and go do some calisthenics. What is it that hurts? I'm trying to assess where my aches and pains are and see if I can go through a couple of cycles of that and just have an assessment at the end that tells me, yeah, you know what, you're not ready to go back 100% yet, right? Or you are ready because that was too easy, and now you now know you're ready to go into that. So I call that my systems check. Wrote an article on it. It's a really good way to, after injury or illness or even starting up again, it's a great way to just kind of give yourself that little assessment tool to see if you're ready to go into it again. So that is kind of how I start handling my regrouping and refocusing, because if I'm not assessing myself, whether it's in business or in fitness or in other areas, I'm just guessing, right? And I don't really know for sure if that's what I need to focus on or not. Is that my strength or is that a weakness? And assess like that.
I think also one of the things that does is it helps you to rebuild habits, because that's something that, it's amazing how easy it is to get out of the habit of doing something that you've done for a long time, especially if that thing is relative to the thing that you're not doing anymore, doing instead. Sitting on the couch is an easier habit to develop than getting up and being out working out at 6 o'clock in the morning.
That is true.
And it is easy to replace the habit of getting up and working out at 6 in the morning with the sitting on the couch.
Absolutely.
So taking those baby steps to kind of reestablish that habit, whatever it is important as well. It's been a couple, 3 weeks since I have sat down and written an article, like really sat down and wrote something or written something, whatever. Grammar ain't my thing. That's what F7 is for. But in the last 24 hours, I have written 2 articles, like long ones, not, 200-300 words, but like 700 words ish. And getting back in that habit, I'm like, hey, I'm good at this. I need to keep doing this. It's easy to reestablish it if you just start doing it again, but you got to start doing it again and understand why. Why am I doing this? Thinking about just, should I maybe be making videos instead of writing articles? But right now it's a lot easier for me to sit and write an article and cough than it is to stand up and do a video and not cough for, 3, 4, 5 minutes. So it's just adapting and moving forward in some kind of way too, I think is important as well.
Yeah. I also found that easier systems check / mobility day workout to be a really good placeholder for my normal habit as well. Yeah. So it's just, I'm up, I'm doing something, even if it's just an easy walk and a stretch.
Right.
I haven't lost that habit.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. So I think that's pretty much what I think as far as reestablishing those are pretty much my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would agree. Sometimes when you're feeling sick, the last thing you want to do is write an article or do a video. I mean, you just can't, right? So you have to rely on some older footage and repurpose it. And then when you start feeling better, maybe some of those ideas that you jotted down while you were sitting there doing nothing but coughing, you actually can make them part of your to-do list when you start feeling better.
Yeah.
And start making them posts and making them articles and making them videos. Next thing you know, you're doing a live training on that topic that you created while you're, really just trying to convalesce. And, you can pull some really cool things out of it if you just listen to what's going on and not panic that you're missing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, I think it's also important if you do, while you're sitting there just making notes and recording your thoughts and other stuff like that, it also will give you a feeling of, sometimes when you're feeling crappy, it's easy to feel hopeless or, just to really get down the dumps. But even if you're just making notes and recording your thoughts and sitting there thinking on purpose, that can make you feel like you're making progress. It can help you to not feel like everything's gone to crap.
I personally find I need that because I am at the absolute worst patient, and my wife will agree with that statement. She just, I won't lie. I mean, my body has let me down, and I'm in this little mini depression that I'm sick or injured, and it's not a pretty sight. So I
Right.
do have to purposefully get out of that state and start focusing on what I can control and stop worrying about what I can't control.
Absolutely. So what other thoughts or questions or thoughts did you have or points did you have for our podcast today, Mr. Stu?
Jim, I just wanted to keep it simple.
Okay.
And, talk about the rebuild, rebrand, whatever you want to call it, for the new year, new you type of thing. And I just thought it was a good combination 1-2 punch because, sometimes you hit the new year and you got new goals and you feel like crap. You don't feel like doing anything yet. So how do you transition out of that? A lot of us, are in that situation where we just are so overwhelmed we can't pull the trigger on that.
And you know what? That just made me think of something. The other key to everything that we've been talking about is keeping stuff simple. The stuff that is simple and highly focused gets done.
Yes.
As soon as you start adding all kinds of variables and, we could do this and we can do that, and all these little things, putting all these preconditions on something to get something done, it's not going to happen. It never happens. I read a book. I can't remember the exact title. It's like The One Thing or something that was written by one of the guys that started Keller Williams Real Estate. And he drew a diagram like this, that most people are living their lives going a million different directions. And so they never really make any progress. But if you keep things simple and focus on one thing, you can make amazing progress in a relatively short period of time. And when we keep things super focused, when we look for the simplest solution to get something done, instead of just the most complicated thing that we could do, but if we look for, okay, what is the shortest point from here to there? What is the thing that we can get us 90% of the way there instead of us investing 90% of our effort in 10%? What's the 90% we can get done? And that 10% may not even be relevant or may not matter. And if it is, then we can go back and fix it up later. And so if you keep things simple, you can make amazing progress. But if you start getting complicated, you get overcomplicated with everything. I love some of these marketing systems that people get tied up in. So they're like, okay, I'm setting up my thing. I'm setting up, I'm going to have, if they do this, then they're going to go through this thing. And if they don't do this, then they're going to go through this thing. And then it's going to retarget them with this, and it's going to do all this other stuff. And that takes them an hour to explain how this marketing system thing works out. And then you ask them, okay, well, how many sales you make? Well, I'm still getting this set up. You laugh, but I got a really good friend of mine that did this for 6 months. He was setting up this thing that was going to be the perfect marketing engine. And then it turned out that his offer sucked. And all the stuff that he did, he never made hardly any sales. As opposed to, and that's what happens on this side, as opposed to the simple thing of, you know what? Let's set up a landing page. Let's run some ads. Let's send some emails. And let's see if anybody buys. And if somebody buys, then by golly, maybe we'll add some complicated crap, or maybe we won't. But I love all these things that I see people doing, but I've made millions of bucks with basically a landing page.
Yeah.
So that's the other biggest thing is if you're looking to rebuild momentum or if you're looking to build momentum, keeping it simple, keeping it focused, and getting it done, especially if you've got a team. The more complicated you make stuff, the more moving pieces there are, the harder it is to get stuff done. If it's real straightforward and it's like, okay, look, we're doing this and we're doing this. Everybody got it? Cool. Meet you back here tomorrow and we'll talk about where we are. Okay, this is what we're going to get done. This is what we get. And then when we meet again, okay, did you get it done yesterday? Great. What are we going to do today? This is what we're doing. Great. See you tomorrow. It's if you do that, then stuff really gets done. If you don't, and I've been guilty of this. I'll be the one that changes direction on everybody. Everybody's like, woo. And I'm like, wait, we should do this. It's like, woo. And then it's like, wait. And it's like, woo. And I got to stop that. Because if we don't get focused, nothing's going to happen. Or a lot of things are going to happen, but you're not going to make any money. So that's a big thing. It's another thing. Just keep it simple. So if I was going to add something to our little list here of establishing or reestablishing momentum. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be simple. Simplest solution is usually always the best solution because complicated stuff never gets done. So
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, Jim. So let's do this. We've got a few more minutes of this podcast. Let's talk a little bit about some of the specifics of the next 2 to 6 weeks for you, and some of the things that are coming down the pike. Because I'm very excited. I've been testing out these genies and definitely loving them. So what is the next big thing that you're focused on?
Wow. So let me go back to the board because apparently we're doing a planning meeting. So I feel like I should have Susan involved in this.
Just a commercial. Just a commercial.
It's a commercial. Okay.
No,
I'm
joking.
No, I mean, if it's a commercial, then I'll give you I don't know, dude. This is what we're doing. I can't keep a secret worth a damn. So I mean, it just is what it is. Yeah. Okay, so first thing that we're doing, we've got about 10-ish new genies that we're coming out with in the next week and a half. I think it's more than 10. I think it's a bunch more than 10. We're getting them done, but let's just say at least 10 new genies. I've already got 3 of them done. I showed the results of one of them for Stu yesterday. He was pretty excited, and he actually used it to create a post.
Yep. Newsletter, everything.
Number 2, we're going to complete or get real close to completing the rebrand of Content Marketing Scripts. Should I tell them what it is, Susan? Should I let the cat out of the bag?
I mean, why not? You said you can't keep a secret.
So the rebrand, we're rebranding everything as copy and content.ai. So everything is going to be rebranded under copy and content.ai. We're getting all the relook and everything on that. Got a new little mascot, the little genie, but it's a different style. We're cleaning everything up. Next thing that we're doing is we're redoing the dashboards inside the site to make them just easier. Just make it easier for you to get where you want to go and do what you want to do. I'm coming up. We already know what the offer levels and everything are going to be, but we're going to have 3 different levels. So I'm going to have the offer. Then I got to work on the sales letter. And then finally going to be working on the webinar that we'll use to sell it, going out and running the circuit. So this is the focus in order what we're working on.
And I guess you ought to add in there the affiliate program, probably like step number 7.
Yep. Absolutely. So referral program.
Referral. I apologize. That's a much better way to put it.
No, it's fine. It's 6 1/2 dozen tomato, potato. But I'd rather think of it as a referral program than an affiliate program.
COVID virus, China virus.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking
See,
about.
you thought I was uncomfortable with you saying that. I just enjoy giving you a hard time.
I know this. So you wouldn't do it for the first 10 years, so now you're just making up for lost time.
Quiet vengeance for constantly going, all right, you go down the road. All right, now we're going this way. Okay, all right.
I'm a lot better on that than I used to be.
Yes.
Okay. So that's a lot. But when it's done, it's going to be life-changing for everybody. You know, I don't know, Stu, if you want to share that advertorial copy that I sent you. Do you want to share your screen and show it to everybody how you used what I sent you?
Sure.
That'd be fun. This is one of the genies this is from one of the genies that hasn't been released yet. So this is good. Since we didn't really have a meeting today, Susan, because we're doing the podcast, look, this is, there we go. There's our blueprint. Look at us multitasking.
Well, I think it's just exciting to see growth and potential growth. It's a growth mindset, and that's really what it takes. Whether it's a New Year's resolution or it's in the middle of the year and you got a great idea, you don't need New Year's to have this kind of energy. It is.
That's a great point.
It is, but it's a great time to make it happen. All right, so let's do it. Yeah. All right, so let me see. Chrome tab, articles of the week. Here we go. You guys see that?
We do now.
Yeah, so that's me and my group of future midshipmen working out with me, and I'm 53 years old working out with a bunch of 16-year-olds. And so this is my article that Jim sent me, and all I did was make a few changes and added pictures. So This was a headline. In fact, I couldn't pick between the two headlines, Jim. So I used this one as the headline: reach for your fitness goals after 40 with Tactical Fitness 40 plus, and then take control of your health and fitness after 40 with Tactical Fitness for the Athlete Over 40 series, all levels of fitness. And yeah, this is what.
So read the first little bit of it.
Yeah. Are you over 40 and need to get in great shape? Stay that way for the rest of your life? If so, Tactical Fitness 40 Plus series is a 4-part program that begins with the foundation building program for beginners or those recovering from injury. The following levels of fitness progress logically with these programs. Now, I added some stuff in here. Jim.
Sure. Yeah. As you should.
Yeah. The comprehensive series guide to fitness, and this was part of what Jim sent me, will help you get back to feeling the way you did 20 years ago or better. Seriously. Tactical Fitness Over 40 series written by aging athlete, former SEAL Stu Smith. He provides a step-by-step approach to fitness that can be tailored for your individual needs. The books are designed to help people over 40 build muscle, burn fat while improving overall health and well-being. You can be active or former tactical athlete, former athlete, or beginner to fitness and still benefit from these programs.
Right.
So that is what your wizard or genie.
The genie, yeah. And that genie, nobody has access to it yet, but they will here in the next week or two. That is from the advertorial genie. That genie creates advertorials for your product aimed at your target audience, aimed at your avatar. So based on your product and your avatar, that genie, we have programmed it to create an advertorial that reads pretty dang well. And so you can do it with a bunch of different angles and stuff. So that's just one. And that ought to get you all excited. Who would like to be able to create advertorials with the whack of a genie button? I know I would, and I can. I can do it now. You guys just have to wait.
I love those things because I have used other wizards for that purpose. Right. Like the Hidden Persuasion Wizard has been a really good one for me to grab a product and talk about it. Right. This is even better.
Yeah.
I still like
It's-
the hidden persuasion wizard.
Oh yeah.
This is just another tool that, especially if I'm kind of on that writer's block side, I have found these genies to be just groundbreaking in the ability to, I kind of have an idea. Where do I go with it? Here's my idea and here's how I go with it. And then you can expand upon that.
So I think I have a metaphor for this, Stu, that I'd like to share with you while we have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Okay. And the metaphor is this. It's a work in progress. All right. So if it works, great. If it doesn't work, we'll just cut it off the thing. So it's kind of like, remember when we were kids? And remember the old, I think it was,
oh yeah, I've done many rockets.
okay.
Backyard rockets.
So here's the thing. The thing that makes history is this little capsule right here at the top. The thing that does all the work is the first stage. The first stage is where I believe 80 to 90% of all the energy is expended with the first stage to get it up in the air and get it fighting Earth's gravitational pull, which is strongest right at the surface of the Earth. Yeah. So you got a couple other little things in here, maybe, call it 5 to 10%. And then the last 5% of the energy is going into the capsule, which is where the guys are that all the magic happens and they went to the moon. So let me get this chair out of the way. Here's the thing is when you're creating a piece of copy or a piece of content or whatever, all that energy, the vast majority of your energy is going into that first draft. So if you think about your effort, energy, all that stuff's like a battery. Just like the rocket is using up 80 to 90% of its energy just to get off the ground, not going to space, not making it to the moon, not making history and all that good stuff, but just getting off the ground. You are using up the vast majority of your energy to create that first draft. Think about midterm, or think about term papers in college, and I know that gives people a cold sweat, but in high school too. What was the hardest part of writing that term paper? Coming up with the first draft, doing all the note. Remember back when you didn't have a computer, so you're doing note cards, and you were doing note cards and getting it was like deal-a-meal out on the. I remember being in the basement of the fraternity house, dealing out these cards and trying to have some semblance of organization at 1 o'clock in the morning with the paper due at 9 a.m. And then you got this little tiny bit of energy left over to do the part, which is the polishing, the editing, and the making it cool.
That's a really good point.
And so what the genies do is they give you back all your energy, because it will take care of, if you use the genies and the avatar and all that stuff, it will get you to that first draft. So instead of it being like a rocket to get you into outer space, it's beam me up, Scotty. Now I'm serious. Think about this. It. Okay. You think about it, it's like, how many of you have ever gotten done with a trip and been like, oh my God, I wish we could just bring me home with my luggage and I could just be home. Who's said that? Okay. Literally said, beam me up, Scotty. All right. Yeah. Well, this is beam me up, Scotty. Excuse me. So now you got a full battery to do the editing, the polishing, and making this thing cool and getting amazing results from it. Just like what Stu did with that advertorial thing that I sent him out of the blue. I'm like, hey, dude, I made this with your thing, and it's pretty cool. What do you think? He's like, hey, I think it's cool enough. I'm just going to edit it and post it up on the web. So that's really what this does for you. It's a great metaphor for that. Don't ride the rocket. Beam me up, Scotty. That's what this does.
Dang. That's a great analogy.
Is that a good metaphor / analogy? What do you think?
That's a good one. Love it.
So that's really what we're doing. That's why I'm so excited. And I've had some people say to me, well, how's this different from Chat GPT? Go ahead and go use Chat GPT. Go on Google, look up Chat GPT. Go use it. And then go use the genies and tell me which ones gives you a better result. There's no comparison. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't care. Go use it. Mess with it. But anyway, that's the metaphor that I'm playing around with. And I just now, literally while we were talking here, added the beam me up Scotty thing. But that's the thing. That's it. So, all right, Stu, that's what I got.
I love it. Well, welcome back, Jim. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I am actually feeling better, even though I'd sound, I bet you in a week or so.
You definitely sound 80%. You know, cardio probably makes you cough.
Yeah.
If talking does.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm excited. So, all right. Hey, as a quick reminder for everybody who is in the elite level of what is currently called Content Marketing Scripts, but will soon be called copyandcontent.ai. Everyone who's in the elite level, next week, Stu and I are going to be doing a live training in our continuing series of Turn Content into Traffic. We are going to be teaching the various types of calls to action you can use, when to use them, where to use them, how to use them. And we will be unveiling the all new, I won't say new and improved because that would mean it was actually, you can't say new and improved implies what's already there, but the all new call to action genie, which is amazing.
Cool.
And I think you're going to get super excited about that. So everybody who's in the elite level inside of Content Marketing Scripts, you'll get an email about that, letting you know when and where, and we'll look forward to that training. Those of you who aren't in the elite level of Content Marketing Scripts, you can be once we put up the sales letter. So we're going to be doing that in the next 30 days. So all kinds of cool stuff is just coming together. I'm telling you, this is exciting stuff, game-changing stuff that's going to make a huge difference in the world. So appreciate you, Stu. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Susan, for running the show behind the scenes. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.